It's only 9:10 now.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Give me a countdown. I'll jump into character.
3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone in this crazy world? We're in dystopian Britain where nothing matters, no one cares. We all just pretend that things are happening that are happening. And if you say what's happening, you get sent to jail. Guys, what's been happening? Are we ready for Halloween? We just had a conversation. We just let run free, Sarah. We had a conversation earlier, me and Sarah, and I thought we should do this on the live. We was talking about, when is it the right time to put your Christmas decorations up? Also, now it seems like we've got to put autumn decorations or fall decorations if you guys are in America. So what's the consensus? Is it something we want to do? And we came to the conclusion that, you know what, it may be worth for some people just totally bypassing Halloween and autumn and saying, you know what, we're going to focus on Christmas, because financial situation, we think, right, we're not going to spend a load of money on decorations this Halloween. We're going to bypass that, not bother. We're going to have a 90s Halloween and we're going to spend more money.
Thomas Fields just put, "Hi Sean, I haven't been on TikTok in months and I've already seen Christmas trees in windows."
Yeah, this is it. So, what's the consensus? Are we going to bypass Halloween this year? Who wants to celebrate ghosts and ghouls anyway? Well, we can celebrate the big jolly fat man. Do we celebrate the baby Jesus? Sorry, we celebrate. We don't celebrate the big jolly fat man. The big jolly fat man is the one who comes and empties his sack in our bedrooms.
Tender Tiger just going to decorate the bunker this year.
Decorate the bunker. Ooh. Just a short shadow. Guys, I'm seeing shadows in the room. Ghosts, aliens, interdimensional beings. What is it? Yeah, I think it's. I think a lot of people will be really. Sorry, he's fine. Louis, come on. Come on. Guys, come on. Oh. Guys, we've got a little dog in the room, so if you hear some whining. It's because of this little one, and he's not having enough attention, so that's why he's whining, because we're on the camera.
He can't have black coffee.
Hey?
He can't have black coffee.
No, he can't have black coffee, and he doesn't realise that it's burny hot.
We had turnips, not pumpkins, as kids.
Yeah, that was a proper 90s Halloween.
When it took an hour to scoop them out.
What you could do with a turnip, a black bag, and some of your mum's mascara was absolutely phenomenal. I remember my mum putting coins in my eyes and gave me a white rattle can on my face. Couldn't get rid of it for absolutely months. But I look like an awesome Dracula. Sarah's laughing because she knows my mum probably would do that. I don't know if she's watching. In fact, what time is it? My mum won't be out of bed yet. 9:14. Guys, yeah, so that's kind of what we was thinking. We've got all this, we've got this cost of living crisis coming towards us, and we really can just see it coming. Louis, shall I open that door for him? Let him have a run.
Yeah, you can do it.
Guys, I'll be 1 second.
Good boy.
I think you just want to stop at runabout.
Yeah.
So we've got this cost of living crisis, and it's kind of one of those things I don't talk about enough because of all these conflicts and these wars that are coming, and guys, I don't talk about aliens enough and transdimensional beings either, but I should do. But this cost of living crisis, it's really going to affect everyone, and you can see it coming. You guys, you can see it a mile away. We've got this system at the moment where, they're talking about having this vote on the winter fuel payment for the elderly. Whether they do it or not, it doesn't matter because we're still getting lots and lots of tax increases, cuts to the, to the welfare system and all the rest of it. But it's kind of like they're taking a load away, giving you a little bit back so you're like, oh, it's not that bad. And that just keeps going. I think one of the main things is what people are not really talking about is actual production of food. Now, if you think about supply and demand, if there's not enough food being produced, the price is going to go up. That is just there's no arguing there. It's like when I saw all this money being printed in 2020 or whatever it was. all this money is being printed, and then you've got like politicians coming up there saying, "Oh, we're not gonna have inflation." I'm like, guys, are you absurd?
Mrs. KP23X, Ricky Jones, the Labour councillor, is in court today. What punishment do you think he will receive?
Well, honestly, I think they'll say you've been in remand now for X amount of days, and that's it. I think he'll, I think he'll just get sent home with a. I think he'll just get sent home. I think it'll be a suspended sentence or community hours or something. I really don't see him having a harsh punishment at all. That's what I see. Obviously, I don't know. I'm speculating. I've got no inside information, but yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Ricky Jones, I think he was the Dartford slasher, the Dartford. I think he was a local councillor, a Labour councillor, and he said basically, I mean, what he said, whether he meant it or not, I don't think he meant it. But do you know what, guys? No, there's an epidemic of knife crime. The context in which he said that, so I'm not going to repeat what he said, but you guys know what he said. Now, the context of the country when he said that, as a councillor. And again, I said this when Jess Phillips came out and she said, I get sent to the front of the queue because of my stance on Palestine, and most doctors are Palestinian in that particular surgery. I said, right, okay, is this only the tip of the iceberg? Is this like is what we're seeing now, the tip of the iceberg of an underlying problem? So do we have, and guys, I don't know the answer to this, but do we have a load of, as Jess Phillips says, a load of Palestinian doctors who give preferential treatment to Palestinians? Do we have a load of, councillors dotted around our country that give preferential treatment to other people? So Ricky Jones, imagine that's what he's saying publicly while he's being filmed. What does he say behind closed doors? What does he say when he's in meetings? When there's people coming in for housing, again, I don't know if he's involved in local housing. I know he's a councillor. I'd assume he's involved in housing. He would be involved in general day-to-day running of that council. How does he talk to his staff? Does he have more staff that share his opinion? And how do they treat people? Do they treat people fairly? You could argue that, from what he said, and the reason he's on remand now is because they don't treat people fairly. They don't have fair opinions. I genuinely don't know.
The one about how much money they've sent, Starmer's sent to Ukraine as well.
So they're sending as we understand it, they've pledged $3 billion a year. Now that would pay for the winter fuel allowance and more. They've all, guys, I've got a lot of friends who are Ukrainian. I see Kiev as my second city, my second home. I also think we should be having a Britain first policy. We should sort problems out in this country before we can sort problems out in another country. Imagine how absurd this would be. If we're like having civil war in the United Kingdom, we're having mass unrest in our country. We've got protests, counter-protests, people are scared to leave their homes, and then we're sending all this money, resources, manpower to try and sort other countries out. We should,
Tim 00810, it's not cash they are sending, it's outdated weaponry. Tanya Hinge, $3 billion a year.
Let me just come back on that. I think all the outdated weaponry has already gone to Ukraine. I think the cash that they're saying they're spending, this is going to be spent on British. This is going to be given to someone, and I'm speculating. I don't know where this money's being spent. But normally, when a country says they're going to give a load of money to another country, what they do is they spend that money on their own companies, so on their own military-industrial complex, and then send them stuff. And again, this brings back the question of, well, not the question, the argument about Britain doesn't get a good deal when it comes to defence. We don't get, the British government, the British taxpayer don't get a good deal. That in America, they're talking about having an efficiency, an official bureau of efficiency. Guys, I've been saying this for the longest time. I first I really noticed it when I started to work with Rotherham Council. So like 2017, I gave Rotherham Council the option. I said, listen, I want to give you, I want to build your emergency power system. So I was going to build them an emergency power system where they would have, you know, if they went grid down, my product would give them, you know, emergency power for a set amount of time. They said, yeah, everything's fine. And then when I said, right, okay, you know, can you just give me the cost of the materials? I'll build it myself. You know, I'll put all the time, effort, money, and resources into it. I just want the money for the parts. You know, they were like, oh, no.
Thank you,
Nicola. And then I found, you know, after talking, I got talking to a lot of the people there. I found how much money they waste on things that are like for example, you know, the council of just like, this is Rotherham Council, guys. I don't know if you guys have a similar system.
Mrs. SKP just put 23. My child's school can't even afford to fix an extractor oven. Been cooking in food tech rooms for a year.
Yeah, guys, you know, it's absolutely disgusting, and we're sending all this money away to other countries, you know, and we're, you know, so that lady there who said that, you're going to be sat at home now, you're going to be looking at the problems your children are facing. Now, you're also going to be looking at these migrant hotels, and you're going to be thinking, they don't have problems with air cookers, they don't have any issues, and, you know, that lady who just said this, her taxes are paying that, but her taxes can't pay for her own children. Mm. This is the absurdity of like where we are, and like the huge problems and the dystopianism of you know, this whole situation. I don't know if he's eating that, Sarah. I don't. No, it's not a problem if he's chewing it. It don't matter if he's chewing it, but I don't know if he's eating. Oh goodness. Right, sorry, we've got a dog eating a sock.
Jude, look after our own. My dad fought 2 world wars. He would be ashamed of our country now.
Yeah, so absolutely. Who said that, Sarah?
Jude,
please wait. Did you speak to your dad when he fought the wars, and did he come back and did he say, Jude, I fought this war so you could choose whether you want to destroy the country or not? Or did he do it for you and your family?
honey.
Let us know what he did, because you know, it really drives me wild when we see politicians come up there and they give this. No, our grandfathers fought for the decision to let us choose our own path. It's absurd. It's kind of but it's like I get offended by it. I really do. I go absolutely crackers, you know. And then like you get Keir Starmer doing his like 2 minutes like laying his wreath at the cenotaph. Can you remember when we all like? I mean, I know, guys. I didn't. When I went to vote this election, I drew male reproductive organ on the ballot paper. But what's he got? No, it's not. So I know that people I've spoke to, they voted. What's up?
Jude, she's put, it was traumatising and didn't speak of it now. We call it PTSD. But yeah, he'd be 104 now, God rest. Ah.
So, yeah, coming back to the point where I was making, you know, it's, you know, when the politicians come up there and they say, you know, our veterans and our people fought in 2 world wars to give us the right to choose our own destiny. No, they didn't. If they knew the destiny that they'd be choosing, they'd be like, yeah, lads, turn these landing craft back, we're good. Turn them back, we're good. We're good.
Just get that sock off everybody.
Why, is he eating it?
Yeah, he actually.
Oh, what, proper swallowing?
He's trying to.
No, I don't mind him chewing it.
We as taxpayers should have a say as to where our taxes go and how they're distributed.
Yes,
yeah?
It's absolutely absurd that we don't. I mean,
Jules just put, and totally angry. My mum was in munitions factory. Times were hard.
Yeah. And you know, and again, your mum, did our grandparents do all this so they could have their winter fuel allowance cut? You know, did they do this and say, right, we're gonna sacrifice so much? Sarah,
just pull it.
Ray, do you want to take it off him? Because he keeps taking it back.
Take it off him? He thinks it's a game. Louis, no.
I don't mind him. It doesn't matter. It's just if he's eating
I don't want him to eat it.
He's getting very aggressive. He's being a little aggressive dog.
No, love. He's playing.
Right. Oh, he's got a pull on him. When he gets going. Oh, he's going to go up. He's going up.
Come on.
If I do it. He's going to go and get it.
Yeah, I probably
What do
will.
you want to do with it?
And totally angry mum was in rubbish. Without the grandparents, there would be nothing. That's right.
Yeah, you're right. You know, and it's just sorry, guys. Going back to my original point before the dog interrupted. I find it really offensive when you get these senior politicians coming up saying, we did this so you could have the choice. It's ridiculous. What choice? We did this so you could have the choice. It's ridiculous. What choice do we have? In fact, what choice do we actually have? Like you just said, we don't have that choice where our tax money is going. What did I say? I said, I said like long ago, when I was standing as a reform candidate before I resigned, I said one of the things we need to do is we need to be able to, have more say on where our council tax spent. We need to have more say on whether or not our politicians get paid. Because think about it now, right? Our politicians, like, what's her name? What's the big box, little box one? No, it's not
Angela.
Jess. Angela Reynard or whatever it is. Angela Rayner, sorry. She's like, people are saying, and she's saying, oh, I'm not going to apologise for having a day off, and that's totally fine, She can go do big box, little box, all she wants. Fill your boots, Angela. Do whatever you want. Get on that podium and shake it like it's, shake it like you mean it. But the distastefulness is, she's the Deputy Prime Minister, and all these cuts have been announced, and then she's going away living her best life, to Ibiza. I mean, come on, guys. Like a 40-odd-year-old woman. Who goes to Ibiza at 40-odd? Anyway, whatever, guys. People do, I know. Now, the distastefulness and the utter contempt of that was, we've announced all these fuel cuts, and then then she's like, guys, and again, we've got to look at the optics of things. As a politician, you're judged by a different metric than other people. So, you've just announced all these, you've not announced cuts, but there's a lot of cuts coming. The leader, the Prime Minister's just said it's going to, what did he say? It's going to be a painful budget and there's difficult decisions to make and yada, yada, yada. We all know what they've said. And then literally, the next thing, you're off in Ibiza, living your best life, doing big box, little box. Now, it's the distastefulness and it's the contempt for the British public. And it's kind of the optics are saying, hey, you guys are having tax cuts while I'm off on holiday. We're all in this together, but you guys are in it a bit more together than me. And that's why people are so angry. And the fact that she couldn't see that, the fact that she didn't understand that, it speaks volumes about the situation.
Tanya's just put, the vulnerable in care homes are going to suffer with all these cuts.
Yeah, this is it. The vulnerable in those care homes, it's easy to give them cuts because they're vulnerable. They don't say anything. They don't complain. They just accept it. Think about the soldiers as well. I heard something that there's been 60 million spent on a barracks to refurbish it for migrants. Why didn't you spend 60 million on the barracks that we've got at the moment for the soldiers? Why don't we do that? Instead of spending 60 million on refurbishing barracks for migrants to live in, why don't we refurbish the barracks for the soldiers that we already have? Why don't we start there? Why don't we start there and then move the soldiers out into the better accommodation? I can remember when I was in Dover. I was in the military in Dover in a place called Conor Barracks. It's closed down now. When we first moved into Conor Barracks, we got told that it was going to be a migrant reception centre, but the migrants came in and said it was unfit for human inhabitants. But they moved the army into it, and I think we got like £40 each to do self-repair or self-help. It was absolutely insane, the levels of, and it was fine, we just put up with it, we put up with it, you're in the military, you put up with it, you deal with it, but, it's the dual standards. We've got people coming here who've never paid taxes, probably don't subscribe to the British values, probably don't subscribe to the British culture, they're coming here, they get a load of cool stuff. You've got people in the military, and this has come out now, guys, it's not me speculating, there's a lot of articles, there's a lot of whistleblowers, people in the military who've got substandard accommodation. I mean, there's people in the military with black mould in their walls and they're told there's no money to sort it out. We've got people in the military in crumbling accommodation and they're just told to get on with it. You know, how do we look at ourselves and how can we, how is this even a thing? Also, and there was an, what was it? I think it was Rishi Sunak who brought up the point. He said, let me get this right, guys, because, okay, guys, this is what I think he was. I may be slightly wrong with the numbers, but he said, if you're a pensioner and you get £13,000 a year, you're going to get less. But if you're a train driver on 65,000 a year, you're going to get an extra £10,000 a year. How is this like, how is this helping anything? And people are not stupid.
Military families are being changed across to living in private accommodation now.
Yeah, that's because, the accommodation that the military accommodation, it's crumbling and there's no money to repair, there's no money to repair it. A lot of this does get sold off and, it's like there's a degradation of the... In fact, guys, let me just quickly... Because I thought £75,000 a year, that is a lot of money. I'm going to Google now, guys, how much an average pilot earns. Is there any questions, Sarah?
It's called the Future Accommodation Model.
Average pilot salary, UK.
Train drivers don't work for the government, they work for private train companies.
Okay, right, guys. I don't know how much legitimacy is here, guys, but I've literally just come onto this. This is an article from Glassdoor. Hang on. Oh my... What? Right, guys, this can't be right. This can't be right. Okay, so we've just said that a train driver gets paid... What did we say? I think they're getting paid 70,000 a year or 75,000 a year. In the UK, the average salary for an airline pilot, sit down right now, maybe get a stiff drink. The average UK salary for an airline pilot is £72,000. So now our train drivers or tube drivers are on par with pilots. That's just the reality of the UK now. That's it. Starting salaries for a newly qualified pilot or a qualified second or first officer at a small airline may start at £24,000 a year. This is, I didn't realise this. Right, and then it goes up higher, you can earn 150 grand a year. But guys, I'm just looking at this here, let me click this link. Airline, right, now this is from National Career Service, airline pilot. Wow. Okay, right. So now in the UK, train drivers are on the same, are on a comparable salary to pilots. Again, absolute insanity. Did you know that? I didn't. I just found that out. Wild.
Yeah, Mrs. KP23X. When people are having to choose to eat or heat, we cannot be housing illegal immigrants.
Yeah. Who are that from?
Mrs. KP23.
Mrs. KP23. I said this like a month ago or something. I said.
Same as Aldi staff on same as trainee doctors. That's from Sophie.
Wild. I mean, we got...
yeah, and Tanya just put in care workers are on a minimum wage.
It just doesn't make sense, does it? It does not make sense. So what KP23 said then about people in this country shouldn't be choosing between heating or eating while we can fund these migrant hotels. People, guys, and I've said this I identified this over a month ago. This Christmas, that sentiment, that feeling, that undertone is going to be amplified by, times a million because people are going to be so angry. And, I've said this so many times. If we have a cold winter this year, can you imagine now you go to see your mum and dad, or maybe you in your family, you're sat there, you're shivering, you're looking at your finances and you're thinking, right, okay, I need to go and get the kids some presents. I need to put the heating on and I need to get some food. And you're trying to prioritise which one is more important. Can you imagine that, right? Put yourself in that scenario now. Then you go to the supermarket and again, I'll come on to this afterwards. And then you go to the supermarket and you see like one of these migrant hotels, and they're all laughing and joking outside, you know,
smoking
with a 3 meals a day with the heating on full blast. You know, how is that gonna, what's going to be the sentiment in the United Kingdom? What's going to be the sentiment of those people who are seeing that? Are they going to think, oh yeah, those people are fleeing war and persecution, we have a right and a duty to put them up and make sure they're fine?
Samantha's just put me and my husband are sat here listening, and it's very frustrating.
But it's,
yeah, Nicola, that's right, with the top phone and nice trainers on.
And this is it, and people are seeing this. And it's like we're being gaslit by the government, and then the government are telling you. So, if you have that opinion and you put it on Facebook,
that's
it's like
right,
4 months in prison or something. It's absurd. But this is why, you know, it's like this boiling pot, and it's just gonna, guys, it's just gonna crack off. It really will. It's inevitable as people get more and more angry. But guys, listen, let me just caveat this as well. If you're in one of these countries and you're seeing all this stuff online, and you're seeing people with loads of money in these fancy hotels, you're going to want to do that as well, aren't you? You're going to want that. So, you know, you can't blame these people for coming here. You've got to blame the system that allows that to happen. All right? And that's what people don't understand. Listen, guys, if I was in one of these countries that had, you know, mass corruption, little to no living quality, you know, I had no future for myself, no future for my family, and then I'm looking on my phone and I'm seeing somebody who's from my country, you know, they're in a nice hotel, they're doing this with a load of money, we've all seen that video on X, you know, and then I'm seeing lots of different, you know, accounts of people. Once they come over on the boats, they get all this stuff. I would want to go myself. I would go there and I would feel it a duty for me to try and bring my family over. You know, so you can't blame the people for wanting a better life for themselves. You've got to blame the system that allows that to happen. The system that prioritises looking after other people over their own people.
James Adams has put, I'm on holiday in Italy and the agenda on the news is worse than ours.
So it's like, this is happening all over the Western world. It's, you know, it's kind of like a switch has been flicked, and all of a sudden this is happening. Now, you know, you can look into George Soros and his organisations, and then you can look at all these like left liberal things. I mean, there's an organisation that operates on borders, and I think it's called No Borders. Guys, somebody will know this in the comments. I think it's called No Borders. It's a non-governmental organisation. Where do they get their funding from? And what they basically do, No Borders, they go around and tell migrants what to say when they get in that other country. And they get paid to do this. Who's paying them? Who's paying them? Where do they get their funding from?
James Adams has put, I worked in Iraq for 10 years and life is better there than the UK.
Yeah, do you know what? I often say this to people, you know, when people say, well, I lived in Baghdad for 5 years. They say, what's it like? I say, well, you know what? If you understand the law and you don't break the law, it's fine. I used to have a cigar and a bottle of Beaujolais and a T-bone every Friday on the roof at Baghdad, and we used to watch the sunset, and it was absolutely beautiful. You know, if you understand the culture and you understand the people and you respect things, you know, it's fine. But that's the problem when we have liberal laws like we do in the United Kingdom. You know, we have a liberal judicial system, and it's policing by consent, not policing by force. And that kind of doesn't really mean anything, but it means, you know, we consent to being policed. And when other people come here and they don't consent to being policed, that's when we have the problems. That's when we have, like, total disrespect of the law. I mean, how many videos have we seen online of police officers being attacked? Police officers trying to arrest someone, and then the person attacks them and they run off. Like, how is that? And the more these things get shared on social media, the more these things get shared and people understand it. That's just the culture now. You know, we don't have policing by consent anymore. We're gonna have to have policing by force.
I wonder what, Mrs. KP23, I wonder what the feeling is in the British Army about what's going on in this government.
Do you know what I do as well? I genuinely don't know. I think the police, for example, I spoke to some police officers, And I think a lot of the police officers understand what's happening. A lot of the police officers, you know, imagine if you're a police officer, right? You join the police because you want to be a police officer. And then when you join the police, you'll be massively politicised. You know, you're told, right, you can't investigate these crimes because of X, Y, and Z. You can't investigate these crimes because of, you know, if you investigate these crimes, you know, there'll be social or cultural, I don't know, discontent. So the police officers, I know for a fact, feel frustrated because their hands are tied. I'm suspecting a lot of police officers on the riot shields, you know, that are at these protests. I think a lot of those police officers will sympathise with that crowd. And I think at some point, you know, because police officers have kids, police officers pay taxes, police officers have got eyes, they see what's happening. I think at some point you're going to get police officers just throwing their shields down and saying, you know what, guys, I'm good, I'm going to walk away.
Coffin Dodger put military family here. 90% of British Army hates Starmer.
Yeah. I think you can use that metric with the whole country. I mean, how bad is it? It's like I said this a while ago. I said the best thing Keir Starmer can do for the country right now is go on holiday for the next 4 years.
Al's put Starmer hates soldiers.
Well, yeah, but you know, when he needs to enforce his draconian, his draconian rhetoric, who's he going to call? Because there's not enough police. There isn't, guys. You know, there is not enough police officers. You know, we saw this. Like, was it last month? Last month.
He was against pen farthing.
Yeah. So we saw this last month. When there was the riots, the protests, the counter-protests, we saw that if people come out en masse, the police don't have enough, there's not enough police. There's not enough police to deal with everything. So at some point, they're going to have to call the army in. Now, I know they've been told that, you know, the army are not going to be called in and it's not on the cards. Guys, trust me, all right? That conversation has been done. There's already legislation in place that allows this and they don't have to have any oversight. I'm trying to think of it now, but I can't. It's called, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was brought in around the Olympics time. The legislation was brought in around the Olympics and they said, right, we're going to bring this legislation in that when ministers ask for it, we can bring military on the streets to assist the police. And that's the legislation they'll use.
I was just going to go back on comments. Somebody's asked about, this is what I was wondering, would the army come out against the public if mass riots happened?
Yeah, the army will do as they're told. That's kind of the thing. The military they did have a really good public order capacity. They do a lot of public order training, which is public order, not policing, so there's a difference. So whereas the policing will be trying to arrest people and trying to gather evidence, the army will just go and quash that crowd. The crowd will be gone. There'll be a lot of collateral there, obviously, but that's one of the things you take into consideration when you call the military in.
Coffin Dodger, the police are corrupt and a corporation for profit ruling by tyranny.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's for profit, and at some point, whether it's the police, the fire service, at some point, someone's making money. Now they pretend they don't make money. Like an example would be non-government organisations and these not-for-profit organisations. Go and look at the British Royal British Legion or something, or any of the. Go on.
Henry's put Conor McGregor announced he will run for president of Ireland in 2025.
Guys, it's wild, isn't it? We could have a situation. Imagine this: Donald Trump, Le Pen. Who else have we got? We have got the German AfD party. Conor McGregor. All in charge of the world, and then we've got David Lammy going out there to negotiate with them. What's going to happen to the United Kingdom? We're just going to be a laughingstock. We really are.
Yeah, Yvonne's just put, can see him bringing in martial law. He doesn't seem to like anyone's opinion bar his own.
Well, so this is what I said, guys. If you, on our other platform, it sounds like blue lube. I don't know if we can say it. You know what I mean. On another platform, I did a video about ideological subversion, and that's where it always leads. It always leads to polarization of a nation and stagnation. Sorry, guys, I'm just writing. Ideological subversion will always lead to that polarization. You go through the 4 phases. So you go through the demoralization phase, you go through the destabilizing phase, you go through the crisis phase, and then you get to the normalization phase. Now, the normalization phase will be in old money. This would be when the Russians would see a crisis in a country, they'd roll in with their tanks, they would then secure the situation, secure the parliament buildings, secure the media outlets, and then you would start your process of normalisation. That can't really happen anymore. That can't really happen anymore in today's world. So what we still have demoralisation of a country where you destroy you make people hate themselves. Just look at the United Kingdom now. We're meant to feel white guilt and white people are bad and all the rest of it, you know. Then you destabilise the people. So you cause problems, you divide the culture, you have protests for this, protests for that, civil unrest, which we've got at the moment. Then you move into the crisis phase. So that's like, you know, the process of civil war, conflict on the streets, everybody's fighting. And at that stage then, that's when the Russian tanks would move in, when the country's broken. This process normally takes about 20, anyway, there's different time frames. Now, once you move into that normalization phase, that's when you will accept the strong leader. You will accept a dictator. You will accept anyone who says they're going to sort this out. And that's the problem. So Conor McGregor, you know, could that be the case where Conor McGregor's, you know, in charge? You know, and this is ideological subversion. You always get these strong leaders, but the problem is the polarization of those leaders when you just believe anything they say. Right, he's our guy. We will believe anything he said. It happened in Germany a few years ago and it didn't turn out very well. So these are just the symptoms of ideological subversion.
Henry's put, could we see the weakening of NATO if Trump comes into power?
Oh, well, again, so literally this morning I did a video on this on our other platform. Check the link in the bio if you've not done it, guys. I'll tell you what I called the video. It was something like, will Poland to enter the war or something. But yeah, so the World War III urgent, Poland to drag NATO into conflict. So, okay, so the weakening of NATO. Guys, NATO's weak anyway, all right? People think that NATO's this strong alliance that's, you know, got all the, like... Okay, so most people think that Article 5 in NATO means... Well, okay, so Article 5 in NATO, if you listen to what people say... It says, an attack on one country is an attack on all countries, then all countries will respond and they'll come to your aid. That's what people tell you. Guys, if you go read it, go do a quick search on NATO Article 5 and read what it says. It doesn't say anything like that. It says, yes, it says an attack on one country is agreed that it's an attack on one country is considered an attack on all countries, yes. But the NATO Security Council will only take steps necessary to bring peace and normality back to that region. So let me ask you this question. Just take one of these Finnish border town, for example. And I'm using Finland as an example because they're a new NATO member. One of these border towns on Finland, a Finnish border town, if the Russians go in there and annex an area, then they have a sham vote. Those people vote overwhelmingly to be part of Russia, and there's no fighting. How can NATO respond? There's no violence. There's no, there is peace. There's no violence. NATO can't do anything, and that's the problem, guys. All right, the NATO, the wording isn't there. The wording's not there like people think it is. Article 5 doesn't say, if your country's invaded, we will send the rest of NATO countries to take back that country, no matter what the cost may be. It doesn't say anything like that. It just says the Security Council, guys, and I'm trying to do this from memory. It says something like The Security Council will take whatever steps necessary to bring back peace and stability to that region. It doesn't say anything about taking land back. It doesn't say anything about, you know, a war happening. It's fake, and people who think that it's some sort of protection, it's absurd.
Wouldn't the UK be better if we put a big amount of military funding into the Navy if we are an island?
Yeah, guys, I said this, like, you know, I've done lots of videos on this. Sorry, I don't mean to keep pushing out the platform, but I did a video on this. Under international, this is my understanding of maritime law. I may be wrong, guys, but I don't think I am. I need to caveat that because we will put this on our other platform. So my understanding of maritime law is that any vessel of the Crown can tow a vessel in distress back to the nearest shore. Now, this maritime law is out there. This maritime law is out there. For example, if a British vessel is in the Indian Ocean somewhere or off the coast of wherever, and they see a vessel and it's in distress, it's sinking, the engines have gone, that gives that vessel then the right to take that back to safety because it's unseaworthy. That's as I understand it, guys, that's international maritime law. That's my understanding of it. Now, what I said like months and months and months ago, again, when I was trying to stand for reform, I said, right, okay, in fact, on this platform, guys, go and check out the video I've got pinned to the top. Guys, I said, right, okay, using this law, using this legislation, why don't we just put all the aircraft carriers we've got on the Britain-France border on the English Channel, right there on the border, and then when the boats are coming towards us, we say, right, that's a vessel in distress. Under international maritime law, we have the ability, we have the legislation already in place to go out, rescue them and take them back to the closest shore. It's already there, guys. It's already set out in legislation. We don't need to be part of the ECHR. We don't need to be part of any agreement. We don't need to pay France any millions of pounds to do whatever. You know, we don't have to do anything. It's literally already there. The law, the legislation, the maritime law is already there, as my understanding gives it. Now, the terrifying question, the absolute terrifying conclusion you will come to if you ask, why is that not being done already? Terrifying, guys. Absolutely terrifying if you follow that why back, if you keep following it back. It's absolute insanity. You know, we've spent all this money on aircraft carriers that don't work and we can't protect our shores. It's insane. Let me just quickly...
Lowe's put the Coast Guards are guiding them into English waters.
Yeah, this is it. You know, it's
Thank
like...
you, Cosmic.
It's like we don't have to accept this, but we want to accept this. And we're being gaslit. We are being gaslit as a nation, saying we can't stop it. You know, it's ridiculous. Guys, I'm just going to do a quick search on Article 5 and I'm going to read it exactly what it says. I'll read you exactly what
World
it says.
Windiness has put, do you use your brain? The government want them here.
Hang on.
Coffin Dodger, we are not protecting our shores as it's all planned.
Right. So there's lots. Hang on, guys. Let me. I need to find the actual what it says.
Casey Source has put, do you feel white people are under racial attack now as I feel we are?
Yeah, of course. And people say that. I do. Yes, I do. You see it everywhere. You could double that up with a war on Christianity as well. You know, there's all these churches burning in Europe, and it seems, you know, you can't criticize anyone else's religion, but Christianity is totally fine, you know, to mock and make fun of. Right, guys, hang on. I think I've got it here. Right, okay. So this is Article 5 from NATO. This is hang on. Guys, I will read it all. The parties agree, so the parties being all the NATO countries. The parties agree that an armed attack against one or more of them in Europe or North America shall be considered an attack against them all. So yeah, fine, that's what it says, but you know, we need to read all of it. And consequently, they agree that if such an armed attack occurs, each of them, in exercise of the right of individual or collective self-defence, recognised by Article 51 of the UN Charter of United Nations, partly or parties attacked by taking forthwith individual and concert with other parties. So that basically means you've got to look at the Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. Guys, right, I've done videos on this. I don't want to read you the whole jargon. Hang on. Here it is, guys. This is the bit that's interesting. Right, you have to go down to the bottom. As a result, so this is basically, if your country's being invaded, this is what NATO will do. As a result, the Security Council will take such measures that shall be terminated when the Security Council has taken measures necessary to restore and maintain peace and security. That's all it says, guys. That is all it says. I'll read it again. Will take measures necessary to restore and maintain international peace and security. Now, if you say, like I gave you earlier, I give you the example that one of the Finnish border towns was taken by Russian force. They overwhelmed the town. It's only a small town. They did it overnight. They had a vote the next day. That Finnish town has now voted to be part of Russia. They want to be part of Russia, and there's no fighting. You've got an incursion into a NATO country, and NATO then looks at their Article 5 and they say, right, we need, and this may take a couple of days for them to get together, have a meeting, do whatever, have some tea and biscuits, whatever, and then they say, right, how are we going to restore and maintain international peace and security? Well, they're not fighting. There's no security issue because they're part of Russia now. What can NATO do?
Diana's put NATO works under the guise of the fuel from Davos.
Yeah, guys, it's an absolute absurdity. People thinking that NATO Article 5. You've got to read the whole article, and there's no security guarantee in it at all. All it says is we will try and do something to try and make things better. There's no, and it also, I think there may be another thing I read. Also, it says that they'll try not to escalate the situation as well. So, if we send troops in, will it escalate the matters worse? It's absurd. Guys, it's not worth the paper it's written on. It really isn't.
G-Talk, with the UK's population decline, do you think we need more people to keep the system working?
Yeah, that's kind of the argument that, the financial argument with migration, in the context that, we're not having enough kids. So because we're not having enough kids in 40 years, when we don't have enough kids to fill the factories, to fill the workshops, the economy will crash, we won't have any money, and then we'll be on it'll be done and over.
Is he meant to be ex-RAF Army? I don't know what you mean.
What's that?
Somebody's wrote, is he meant to be ex-RAF Army?
Who?
I don't know.
Me?
Somebody's wrote.
Okay, so that's the argument with migration, and I mean the argument's solid, but the reality, like most things, isn't true. I mean, look at the prison population. Look at the amount of legal migrants that are unemployed. I think it's costing the taxpayers 8.5 billion a year. Now, I get that it's not really. It's kind of the metrics kind of skew with, because as long as those migrants spend that money in this country, the money's not really going anywhere. But yeah, it's still not a good metric to look at. I think we'd rather have that money spent on infrastructure projects.
Yvonne Hepburn 6. Starmer works for Davos too. He said in an interview he'd choose this over UK government.
No. So he did. So Keir Starmer was asked in an interview. Like, again, it's so funny watching Keir Starmer's previous interviews. Somebody asked him whether he preferred Westminster or Davos, and straight away he said, "Oh yes, I prefer Davos." So he's a little Davos dude. We've elected him. We've got him for the next 5 years. We just got to suck it up. Just got to deal with it. And this is what I mean. The next person we vote for, everybody's probably going to vote for Farage. They won't vote for Farage. We won't vote for reform, we will vote for Farage.
Autumn Leaves, what do you think about UK prisoners being sent to Estonia prisons?
Yeah, I've literally, on our other platform, I'm going to do a video about that later on today. It's absolutely insane. We are now a net exporter. People say we don't export anything in the UK. What we do, we're exporting criminals now. We're importing criminals and exporting them. We're like a little crime, we're like a little crime machine, aren't we?
It can't get any worse.
Oh, it can. Oh, it can. Guys, don't think it can't get any worse. Trust me, when Christmas comes and people are looking, people have been laid off.
G-Talks put pensioners are causing the financial issues. It takes 5 full working families to pay 1 pension.
Yeah, no, guys, listen, I was talking to my friend. I'm trying to get him on here and see if he'll do like a little podcast with me. We talk about this, about the pensions. The pensions it's such a Ponzi scheme. When pensions started, we had a totally different demographic. We had a totally different financial system. We had a totally different society. And pensions will work as long as more people are paying into them that are taking them. But people are living longer. Less people are paying into pensions. I was speaking to my friend. He was showing me how much he pays per month on his pension and how much he'd get back. And he said, "Look, for what I'm paying now in a pension, I could have bought like a house, and I could be paying the mortgage on a house now, and then that could be my pension pot when I retire. Also, with that house," he said, "I could be renting it out so I could have an extra income." But people are forced to pay into pension pots. So this is just my friend's situation. So he's in a situation now where he has to pay X amount of pounds into his pension. And when he retires, the amount he'll get, it's pitiful for what he's paying now. And he said to me, he said, "Look," and he did the numbers. He said he could buy a house with the money he's paying into a pension and pay the mortgage and just not have anyone in it. That like a lower price bracket house. Additionally to that, he could get a tenant in that. So he says if he wasn't paying his pension, he would be a lot more. He'd have a lot more money and he'd have a better pension. So this pension pot, and the problem with pensions is, as they're getting squeezed, the financial institutions, the financial management companies, that they'll say, "Right, we will give you 10% a year back on your pension. So you give me your pension money, I will invest that, and then I will give you 10% back." So, or whatever it is.
Yeah, Lou's just put, "My old dad worked all his life, losing winter help and taxed on his pension."
So Grandad, who's still alive, he worked all his life. He's always paid into his pension. He's got a flat now, a little bungalow, one of these bungalow estates. His next door neighbour has never worked a day in his life. He's never done anything. He's next door to him, and he gets £36 a month more. What? So if you don't work, you get more? Is that the incentive? Where's the incentive? And guys, I've said this many times before. Nowhere ever in history has any civilization been taxed into prosperity. So taxing people, it's not doing anything. Taking money off people, like take my friend for example with his pension. He knows how to spend his own money. He will give more oversight, more consideration, and he will spend his own money better than giving that to the government or the pension pot for them to then bet on some company, some product, some system, take a percentage out for themselves, do this, pay that, because they're betting with somebody else's money. My friend could easily give himself a better pension and a better retirement, but he's not allowed to, because he's got to pay into his work pension. It's absolutely absurd. I don't think pensions are going to last, guys. I think they're going to...
Henry said, "I saw a post yesterday that train drivers are overpaid. Just wanted to hear your point of view on it."
Yeah, so literally, like earlier on in this stream, we talked about how much they're getting paid. They're getting paid comparable, and train drivers are getting paid the same as pilots, basically, in a nutshell. I did it earlier on in the video. So that's the reality now in dystopian Britain. Pilots and train drivers, they're the same. They're by equity, that's the same thing. So
yeah, Lou's just saying, "My dad also has to pay for care for his terminally ill wife. It's just awful."
Yeah, it is. This is the problem. I think people want more of a say in where their money goes. People want more of a say in what and who they fund. I can spend my money better than giving the government £1, they take 10 pence out for themselves, they give that to a private company, they take 10 pence out for themselves, they give that to their staff, they pay taxes on this. You know, I can spend my money better than the government can spend my money. I would, you know, guys, and I would say that goes for 99.9% of the people in humanity. You know,
Maggie the Cocker Spaniel, I work on railway. I spent 15 years learning my professional.
Yeah, okay, so are you a train driver? Guys, you know, this is something I don't know anything about. Does a train driver need 15 years experience before they can be a train driver?
I thought so.
I
No,
don't
controller. She was a controller.
Okay, and how much do you get paid as a control? If you don't mind asking, guys, this is something I have no experience in. I'm getting the answers from you. How much does an average start? What's an average starting salary for a controller? I don't know.
100k with overtime.
For a controller. Mm-hmm. So you start at 100k. That can't be right.
No, that can't be right. If a train driver's only getting 70, a 60k salary. So, Maggie the Cocker Spaniel, 60k salary, 100k with overtime.
Wow, I've been in the wrong game. So, guys, this is not something guys, I have no experience in trains, in train driving, in control. All I'm giving you is what we've been told, what the media comes out, and the optics. Because, like I always say on my streams, on my videos, the reality kind of doesn't matter. It's the perception of that reality. It's what people are seeing. You know, it's what people think.
This one's just making me laugh. KLC 1607. You've no experience military either. You'll call them CH-47s. British Squatties call. I don't know what that is.
So British Squatties call them Chinooks? Is that what you said?
I don't know. You haven't finished the rest of his comment. Oh yeah, Chinooks. Yeah.
No, I'll give you that, mate. Special Forces normally call them CH-47s because you deal with a lot of helicopters, so you just give the designations.
No wonder trains are so expensive. Negative evidence. Don't blame the workers. Get a good union for yourself.
Well, this is it. Like these unions as well. Like my friend has to pay into a union. He's got this. So he had to pay money into a union. I said, what do you get from the union? He said, not much. But the unions buy investment property in overseas. It's wild. It's like this. I don't like people who just deal in money. I really don't, guys.
Maggie the Cocker Spaniel, she's put railway is expensive because the shareholders take your money.
Yeah, of course they do. It's absurd. I mean, I last time, well, not the last time, but when I come back from Ukraine, I get the train from Kiev to Przemysl in Poland. It's a direct train now. I can get that night. It's like you can go at the night time. You can get like a sleeper cabin. So it takes like 12 hours. So Kiev to Przemysl, 12 hours on a train. It's like a sleeper cabin. You've got like a little bed. Sleeper cabin. 12 hours, first class. It's $25. $25, guys, for first class. It might have gone up a little bit. I don't know, but about $25. That's what it costs. Right, for 12 hours. Then you get the train from Przemysl to Krakow, which is it's like 4 hours. That's $15. And guys, the trains in Poland are just so much better. Honestly, like they're cleaner, they're faster, they're on time. You get like these lovely like restaurant carts and people are being civilized in there. You know, you're not getting people like being aggressive. It's just really civilized. So 4 hours, $15. Again, that's like you don't get like first class, you get these little cabin things where there's like 3 and 3. $15. Flight, like if you get a cheap airline from like the UK, Krakow, or what's the town, Katowice, the next one over, either or, you can get a flight from there back to the UK, and it's like 50 to 80 quid, a cheap flight if you drop on it. You might have to pay 100, I don't know. Now, one of the times I came back, I had to come back to, as it happened, I flew out through Doncaster Airport, but when I was coming back, Doncaster Airport had closed, so I couldn't get a flight back to Doncaster Airport. I was gutted. Closest airport I could get was Luton, so I went, right, I'll go to Luton. I think it was 83 quid with Ryanair. Anyway, go on the flight to Luton. Guys, Luton Airport is absolutely horrific. Anyway, let's not go with that. So I got through to Luton Airport, got to the train station, I walked through, because it's in walking distance. got to the train station. I thought, right, train ticket from Luton to Sheffield. Guess how much? Guess how much you think that was? Bear in mind, I just paid 15 quid to go half the way across the country, like I don't know how long it is, guys, like 12 hours, first class, on a sleeper. That cost me about $25. Then I got a 4-hour train ride from Premiershell to Krakow. That cost me $15. Guess how much the train was from Luton to Sheffield? £140. Guys, honestly, I didn't know. I genuinely did. I was like, how is this even a thing? It came, the train was stinking, it had holes in the seats, it was, people were barging and pushing and shouting and swearing. I was like, oh God. Honestly, I wish we could have the Polish train system, because it's so much better. But this is it. We're being gaslit into thinking we have a good train system. We're being gaslit into thinking we have good utilities. We're being gaslit into thinking this is okay. It's not. Oh. Right, Sarah, how long have we been going? What have we been doing? Have we done this
I'm not
40
sure.
minutes?
It's 10:10 now.
How long what time did we start?
I'm not sure. Yorkshire fellow down road. Why are some people so obsessed with trying to say you're not ex-military? Some proper whoppers.
I don't know. I get that all the time. I don't care equally. Does it? And again, I used to say, does it matter? But I know it does matter to a lot of people. Like, it doesn't matter to me. If people want to come up to me and say you're a walt, I'll just say, yeah, whatever. I genuinely couldn't care less. But I think that, there is this thing, isn't there, with like the stolen valor and the veterans cards, and you see these people turning up with loads of medals on, and you're like, dude, what even is that? I just think it's, honestly, guys,
Didn't a police officer just get done for something like this?
Yeah, I think yes, like a commissioner or something. I don't know. I wouldn't want to say, but the first time I saw it, I was in England. Were playing Argentina in the football. This was like 20 years ago, and we was in a pub. So there was me and 4 other guys who were doing a machine guns course in on the south coast somewhere, Bovington. I want to say Bovington. I might be wrong. Anyway. We're doing a machine guns course down there, and we was out in the local pub. And this guy just pulled a picture out of his pocket of him dressed like in parachute regiment, like number 2 dress. Now, if you've been a paratrooper or you are a paratrooper, you can spot straight away that it's not right, because just little things that you have to do, like position of the lanyard, position of the knots on the lanyards, the type of belt you can wear, button placement, you can just tell, and you can just tell. But for normal people who've never really seen that, they look at it, they say, oh yeah, fair enough. So this guy, he's like going around to people and he's saying, yeah, when I went down there in 82, we're giving him a rate, and we were talking about like when he went down there in 82, and he just pulled this picture out. Who keeps a picture, like a proper old school picture? Who keeps a picture in their pocket of themselves in number 2 who's just stood in the front room? It's absurd. It's like what even is that? I don't. And anyway, so he's walking around. He's going around the pub telling everyone he was, he was in the parachute regiment and he was in the Falklands. His age was about right, that he could have been in the Falklands, but he came over and started talking to us, like, and he didn't have a clue who we were, because obviously, like, our little group, it's like you don't tell people what you're doing. I usually tell people I'm a dolphin trainer. And, but yeah, it's just absolutely wild how some people go, I think it's fascinating how some people go to such lengths to pretend they did something that they didn't, and it's just absurd. Right, let's guys, are we good? Sarah, are we good?
Yeah,
you're looking
yeah.
Right,
no,
guys,
no.
We're going to close this down now. If you want to see this full episode, we're going to post this on our other platforms.
Best toga wearers too. Yorkshire fella down road says.
What's he say?
Best toga wearers too.
Yeah. You can't wear pants, so you have to put your money down your sock. Yeah, guys, we're going to post this on our other platform if you want to see it in its entirety. I'll do that later on tonight, about 6 o'clock. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on our other videos.
you,
Go check out our
Cosmic.
other platform. Do a search for me now, Real Raven 1, Real Raven. You can find us. If you do a Google search, you can find us there. Guys, that's it, and we'll try and see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.